Good evening and welcome to News at 6 on Rajya Sabha television. I am Aishwarya Kapoor with you, and in the next 30 minutes we'll be taking you through the biggest developing stories of the day from India and across the world, starting with the headlines. India to skip the Belt and Road Forum meeting in Beijing. Government cites concerns on the China-Pakistan economic corridor. Two civilians killed and 3 injured in shelling by Pakistan in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajya district. Over 100 people migrated to safer places from 5 villages near the line of control. Over 100 countries, including India, hit by a massive cyber attack. Experts claim the attack was carried out with the help of cyber weapons stolen from the US National Security Agency. And Pakistan prepares a strategy to defend its position on the Kulbhushan Jadhav case. Attorney General Ashtaf Osaf expected to represent his country before the International Court of Justice. First up, a big story from Jammu and Kashmir. At least 2 people, including a teenage girl, were killed in a ceasefire violation by Pakistan on Saturday along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajya district. Meanwhile, authorities have also ordered the closure of over 50 schools for an indefinite period in the district due to the firing from the neighbouring side. Now, this is the 3rd ceasefire violation along the Indo-Pak border in Jammu and Kashmir in the past 3 days.
Pakistani troops resorted to heavy shelling along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajya district on Saturday, killing 2 civilians and injuring 3 in a fresh ceasefire violation. The victims included a 13-year-old girl. Pakistan used long-range 120 mm mortar shells and automatic weapons to target Indian positions. The shelling affected 5 to 6 hamlets along the line of control, including Sheri Makeri, Namakdali, Jangarh, Lam, Bhavani and Khamba belts.
हैवी शेलिंग रिपोर्ट की गई है. सुबह से 2 लोगों की डेथ हुई है और 3 इंजर्ड हैं, जिसमें से एक क्रिटिकली इंजर्ड को जम्मू रेफर किया. अभी हमने 4 रिलीफ कैंप एस्टैब्लिश किए हैं और 26 आइडेंटिफाई. अगर ज्यादा इवैक्यूएशन हमें करनी पड़ती है, शेलिंग जब कम होती है तो और लोगों को इवैक्यूएट किया जाएगा.
दहशत का माहौल है. इतनी जब शेलिंग होती है, इतनी हैवी शेलिंग, तो हमने मतलब करगिल के टाइम भी जब शेलिंग होती थी तब भी इतनी शेलिंग नहीं हुई है.
Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti condemned the attack.
It's very unfortunate जो नौशहरा में पिछले कई दिनों से फायरिंग हो रही है. पहले एक लेडी की डेथ हो गई, फिर दूसरी आज और डेथ्स हो गई हैं. इस वक्त ये अफसोस की बात है और मैंने हमेशा से हमारा ये मानना है कि जंग और कन्फ्रंटेशन, इस तरह से गोलाबारी से सबसे ज़्यादा नुकसान जो होता है हमारी रियासत का होता है, हमारे लोगों का होता है.
Following a series of ceasefire violations, the administration shut down nearly 50 schools along the border in Nowshera for an indefinite period. People were asked not to move out in border areas. The escalation of tension also led to migration of people from various places to safer areas.
एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ने अपनी तरफ से 30 रिलीफ कैंप यहाँ रखे हैं, जहाँ लगभग अब 2-3 हजार लोगों को अकोमोडेट कर सकते हैं. हेल्थ फैसिलिटीज वहाँ प्रोवाइड की गई हैं. राशन है, लाइटिंग का सारा है, सैनिटेशन, ड्रिंकिंग वाटर, हर एक चीज फैसिलिटी हमने प्रोवाइड की है और लगभग 100 के आसपास हमारे ऑफिसर्स ऑफिशियल्स ड्यूटी पे हैं.
किस तरह बेहाल हुए हम बैठे हुए हैं स्कूल के अंदर. हम चाहते हैं सरकार जल्द से जल्द कोई ठोस कदम उठाए ताकि जो हमारे लोगों के समस्या हैं, बच्चों की एजुकेशन का मसला है, हम चाहते हैं कि जल्दी से जल्दी हल करे.
हमारी सबसे पहली समस्या है कि गवर्नमेंट को हमने जो हमारी प्रॉब्लम्स है वो हर बार बताई है, लेकिन आज की ये जो मेन प्रॉब्लम है वो यही है कि गवर्नमेंट इन लोगों को टेंट प्रोवाइड कराए और इमीडिएटली इनको शिफ्ट करे.
This was the 3rd major ceasefire violation in Nowshera this week. In earlier incidents, a woman was killed and her husband was injured in the Pakistani firing. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to the other big story of the day. Now, nearly 100 countries, including India, were hit by a massive cyber attack that experts said was carried out with the help of cyber weapons stolen from the US National Security Agency. The cyber attack was first reported from Sweden, Britain and France. Security researchers recorded more than 45,000 attacks in 99 countries, including the UK, Russia, Ukraine, India, China, Italy and Egypt.
A massive cyber attack on Friday targeted a number of organizations across Europe, including Britain's state-run National Health Service and Spain's biggest telecommunications firm. There were reports of infections in 99 countries, including India, Russia and China. Computer systems were infected by cyber criminals with malicious software called ransomware, which locks up computers and demands a ransom to restore access.
This ransomware attack is the biggest known ransomware attack in the history of human mankind. This is for the first time that cyber criminals have been able to orchestrate at an international level such a huge cybercrime campaign that it's already impacted more than 99 nations. And the numbers are still counting on. We still currently do not know yet the extent of damage. What I do distinctly know is that this is the biggest attack that human mankind has seen, and I think this attack needs to propel people and countries into action.
Cybersecurity firm Avast said it had seen 75,000 cases of the ransomware known as WannaCry and variants of the name around the world. Spain's government said a large number of companies, including telecommunications giant Telefonica, had been attacked. While in Britain, hospitals were forced to turn away patients and cancel appointments after the nationwide cyber attack crippled computer systems of NHS.
We're aware that a number of NHS organisations have reported that they have suffered from a ransomware attack. This was not targeted at the NHS. It's an international attack and a number of countries and organisations have been affected. The National Cyber Security Centre is working closely with NHS Digital to ensure that they support the organisations concerned and that they protect patient safety. And we're not aware of any evidence that patient data has been compromised.
The tools for the cyber attack is believed to have been stolen from the US National Security Agency. European Union's law enforcement agency Europol said the attack was at an unprecedented level and that it will require a complex international investigation to identify the culprits. The G7 nations who are meeting in Italy have agreed to jointly fight cyber attacks on the global financial system. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
All right, let's get some more perspective on that story. Mr. Par Gupta, who's a cyber law expert, is now joining us on the phone line. Very good evening, Mr. Gupta. Thank you so much for joining us on Rajya Sabha television. Sir, we'd like to know from you, now this ransomware cyber attack has hit 99 countries, including India. We'd like to know from you what actually might have happened and, how big the damage could be, especially when we talk about India, and what is being done to deal with it.
There's been speculation which is on for quite some time that the National Security Agency, which is an entity in the United States, lost control of a lot of what is called weaponized software, basically software which is used to infiltrate into the systems of special people that they target. Usually what they would like to say are terrorists, essentially for law enforcement purposes. So essentially the NSA lost control over that, hackers gained control over that, and that's what essentially that they have deployed. And now this is the first worldwide use of ransomware which is fairly well coordinated and has struck across several jurisdictions. Now what's important to understand is that the attacks are not per se against countries, they are against individuals who are having internet connections in these countries, and such kind of attacks will only increase if countries keep investing in such kind of malware as a policy, and secondly, individuals are not made available the best security standards, essentially encryption which is available in their systems, which prevents a hacker from gaining access to their data and then holding them up for ransom. So, yeah.
So this is random ransomware has wreaked havoc worldwide. But speaking about the situation in India, how much are we able to really contain the damage? Though it is obviously very premature at the moment, but how much of damage is possible in this case?
So what's important to remember is that in terms of the law, there's no deficiency as such. So there are provisions which do exist under the Information Technology Act, both for proceeding under criminal law as well as under civil law, seeking compensation for any kind of monetary loss that a person may suffer. But the problem then again goes towards enforcement. How do you enforce these things? And I guess that there'll be a limitation in the police department's ability to track down the people who are executing these attacks, given that from what's coming in, they seem to be fairly well sophisticated, running off softwares which are in fact being developed by a foreign intelligence agency. So, I guess what people can do today is possibly go to the websites of really well-respected conventional antivirus and malware prevention companies such as Symantec, Norton, McAfee, and just look at whether their systems are and scan them for any kind of such kind of exploits. So I think what I'm posing the solution towards individuals right now is that, yes, the law will protect you, but only in theory. What is important right now for you and your technical security is to ensure that your system is clean and it is secure.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta, for joining us and sharing those views on that story. And let's get you some more updates from across the country. Let's go nationwide. The central government on Saturday exempted residents of Jammu and Kashmir, Assam, Meghalaya and citizens above 80 years of age from mandatory quoting of Aadhaar to obtain PAN cards and file income tax returns. In a notification, the Finance Ministry said that the exemption has been given to individuals who did not possess the Aadhaar number or the enrollment ID. The exemption will also apply to non-resident and non-citizens. The hearing on Vijay Mallya's extradition from the UK has been deferred to 13th of June. The Britain Crown Prosecution Service will argue on behalf of the Indian authorities when the case comes up for fresh hearing at the Westminster Magistrates Court. The hearing was earlier slated for 1st of May. Kerala Governor Justice retired P. Sathasivam on Saturday asked Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan to take immediate action to end violence and murders in the politically volatile Kannur district. The direction came after a 3-member BJP delegation met him at Raj Bhavan and also submitted a petition seeking action on the killing of RSS functionary Biju on Thursday. Former Delhi Minister Kapil Mishra mounted a fresh attack on Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, accusing him of using AAP MLAs as a shield. This comes after party legislator Sanjeev Jha announced a hunger strike to counter the rebel leader's ongoing fast. Kapil Mishra is on a hunger strike since 10th of May. Minister of State for Home Affairs Kiran Rijiju on Saturday unfurled a 107-foot tall tricolour flag near the Indo-Pak border at Atari Vaga. After unfurling the flag, the minister also took stock of the security arrangements there. Rijiju will also interact with the traders engaged in import and export business with Pakistan and hear out the trade-related problems. In news at 6, we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
The sacred relics of Buddha were unearthed in Piprava in Uttar Pradesh. Buddhist monks from all over the world visit the National Museum to pay their respects. These charred bone fragments of Buddha are housed in the gold canopy gifted by the royal family of Thailand.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, India will skip the Belt and Road Forum in China that begins tomorrow due to its concerns on the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor or CPEC. It is noteworthy that the CPEC is the part of China's One Belt, One Road project, which is the theme of the summit. Well, apart from Bhutan, India is the only country in South Asia which has not signed any agreement on Chinese President Xi Jinping's ambitious OBOR project. Preparations are on for the high-profile Belt and Road Summit that begins from Sunday in Beijing. Topping the agenda is the China's OBOR, or the One Belt, One Road project. OBOR seeks to connect Asia with Europe and even Africa on the way with a network of roads, ports, railways and other infrastructure projects. Leaders have started arriving in the Chinese capital for the two-day summit that will be attended by 29 heads of state and government, including Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, Russian President Vladimir Putin. The US delegation will be led by White House advisor Matt Pottinger. However, in a snub to China, India has decided to skip the meet in view of sovereignty concerns related to the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor (CPEC). While there is no official word, news agencies reported that India will not take part in the meet. CPEC is the Pakistan arm of OBOR that goes through Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. It is then not surprising that Pakistan is expected to take centre stage during the summit. Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif is leading the largest delegation with 4 chief ministers and 5 federal ministers.
Pakistan has a very important role to play in the summit because CPEC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, is the flagship, the pilot project, and it is the most successful initiative under the One Belt, One Road. So we feel that our role will be very important.
Apart from world leaders, over 80 leaders of international organizations are also attending the summit, including UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, World Bank Group President Jim Yong Kim, and the Managing Director of IM Christine Lagarde. While India is skipping the meet, China managed to rope many other nations, even those that have various disputes with it, including South Korea, the EU, and Japan. US also decided to send in a delegation at the last minute after the two sides clinched a lucrative trade agreement. Analysts say OBOR is China's economic tool aimed at spreading its influence across continents and stretching its military capabilities.
我们也欢迎各方都来参与"一带一路"国际合作高峰论坛。根据我掌握的情况，美国总统特别助理、白宫国安会亚洲事务高级主任郭廷杰将率团。
India's decision to give the summit a miss came after a year of bilateral discord over a number of issues, including China's opposition to India's entry into the NSG and a UN ban against Pakistan-based terrorist group Jaish-e-Mohammed leader Masood Azhar, as well as opposition over the Dalai Lama's Arunachal Pradesh visit. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. On to some other news, finance ministers and central bankers from the group of 7 countries of the G7 gathered for a second day in Bari in Italy on Saturday. Now, topping the agenda are issues facing the world economy, combating terror funding, cyber securities as well as taxes. The ministers will also commit to join forces to fight the growing threat of international cyber attacks. According to a draft statement of the meeting, Britain has emphasized the need for the UK to have a strong voice in the international councils and in Brexit negotiations. Finance ministers and central bank governors from the US, Canada, Japan, France, Germany, Italy and Britain are meeting in the Italian city of Bari to discuss the world economy, combating terrorist funding, cybersecurity. Now, Pakistan is preparing a strategy to forcefully defend its position on the Kulbhushan Jadhav case before the International Court of Justice. Now, Pakistani military court has sentenced Indian national Jadhav on death on charges of spying. Pakistan's Attorney General Ashraf Osif is expected to represent Pakistan before the ICJ. Now, reports say that Osif held marathon meetings for 2 days with the officials of the Foreign Office as well as the Law Ministry. Pakistan could raise the issue of jurisdiction by citing a case involving India shooting down a Pakistani Navy plane in 1999. It is also likely to contest that the International Court has no jurisdiction over cases involving Pakistan's national stability. Now, the ICJ will hold public hearings on the case on Monday. Jadhav, remember, was sentenced to death last year for alleged espionage.
Pakistan has said that they will not abide by what the International Court of Justice is saying. The sentence, the stay order brought by International Court of Justice, they will not abide by it. The thing is that if Pakistan does it, because 15th May is the hearing, if Pakistan does it, as it is, they are isolated in the entire world. They will be further isolated in the entire world. Only just 2 days back, America also has warned Pakistan that they should restrict they should finish off all the activities what they are carrying on against India.
Let's get you all international news now. Here is the global buzz. At least 20 people were killed and 11 others injured when a bus carrying the Turkish tourists crashed near the southwestern holiday town of Marmaris. The cause of the accident is unclear at the moment. The accident took place on a hilly road after the bus smashed through a crash barrier. Two young shepherds who had visions of the Virgin Mary 100 years ago in Fatima were declared saints by Pope Francis. The story of Fatima's shepherd children has captivated Catholics since their first reported vision on 13th of May 1917. The church believes that the Madonna gave the children 3 messages, the so-called secrets of Fatima. A senior North Korean diplomat who handles the country's US affairs said on Saturday that Pyongyang would have dialogue with the US administration if conditions are right. The comments come in the middle of international efforts to ease the tension over North Korea's pursuit of nuclear arms. Palestinians living in the Israel-occupied West Bank voted on Saturday in the local election. Months of political and legal dispute preceded the elections. Around 8 lakh Palestinians are expected to vote for representatives in 145 local councils in the West Bank, but not in the Gaza Strip. However, the election was boycotted by several Palestinian groups. The rare appearance of a tornado shocked people in southwest China's Yunnan province. Excited witnesses quickly took to their cameras to record the amazing scene, marking the first video footage of the weather phenomenon. No injuries or property losses have been reported yet. This kind of weather phenomenon is rarely seen in land. The last record of a tornado in the province is way back in 1985. Time now for all the sporting action. Here is the sports beat. Bajrang Punia and Sarita entered the gold medal rounds in the Asian Wrestling Championship. Both have now ensured at least a silver medal each. Sarita beat Hugh Hong Dao of Vietnam 12-0 to make it to the final of the women's 58-kilogram category, while Bajrang made it to the final in the men's 65-kilogram category with a hard-fought 3-2 victory over Quigwang Kim in the semi-final round. In the 2003 edition, India won 5 medals that included 2 silver and 3 bronze. Rafael Nadal beat Belgian David Goffin 7-6, 6-2 to reach the semi-finals of the Madrid Open. Nadal edged a bruising first set after blowing 8 break points. Top-class tie-break as well. Nadal will now face Novak Djokovic in the semi-finals. The match between Djokovic and Nadal will be the 50th between the two great rivals who have won a combined 26 Grand Slam titles. In another match, Croatian Borna Koric beat world number 1 Andy Murray in the third round, and Pablo Cuevas of Uruguay beat German Alexander Zverev. Michy Batshuayi's late goal clinched the Premier League title for Chelsea as they beat West Bromwich Albion 1-0. Chelsea were suffering some late nerves as West Brom threatened to prolong the title race, but substitute Batshuayi scored in the 82nd minute to spark with the celebrations from Chelsea supporters. The victory put Chelsea 10 points clear of the second place Tottenham Hotspur. It is the 5th time that West Londoners won the Premier League. That's all in this edition of News, but news and updates continue on Rajya Sabha television. Thanks for watching.